I'm going to be available. I'm going to be available after this if you want to speak.
That was the response from community members during a large portion of Hartford's State of the City address tonight. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. In between those interruptions, Hartford Mayor Aruna Naralampulam highlighted the well-needed firefighter increase as well as new businesses that are coming into the city.
Fox 61's Kay Pattyfoot has more from this evening's address.
Mayor Aruna Naralampulam touted what's been accomplished in this past year. But minutes into his speech, he was interrupted and criticized by some regarding the deadly police shootings. Hartford Mayor Aruna Naralampulam focused the first part of his speech on the city's two deadly police-involved shootings, something many hoped he would address.
Everett Walker and Stephen Jones, and the tragic incidents that took their lives. Let me start by saying something that shouldn't be divisive. Their lives mattered.
Shortly after, some people in the audience interrupted him for more than 10 minutes. Everett Walker's daughter, Menon, spoke too.
I apologize that your speech was interrupted, but I don't want this to be swept under the rug because my father was a good man. He worked in Hartford for 35 years, never even getting the chance to retire.
Mayor Naralampulam assured her it won't be swept under the rug and that his death is still being investigated and there is a process. He also spoke about what's been done to tackle public safety.
It's about making sure we prioritize prevention, we prioritize education, that we prioritize health and mental well-being of the most vulnerable of our residents. That's why we created the city's very first Office of Violence Prevention, so we could better coordinate community response to public safety.
He says conversations are happening to make sure the HEART team, which provides mental health services, is fully funded after ARPA dollars run out.
We're going to work closely with the legislature in the coming years and look at general fund funding to ensure that those services continue. But we also need to figure out ways in which we can address heightened cases of mental health.
He also mentioned what will be done when it comes to investing in young people.
We are working with our partners at the state to make Hartford the very first city in the state of Connecticut to offer universal childcare in the coming years.
And when it comes to Hartford Public Schools' more than $70 million deficit,
we've got to work together to find a solution out for the state. And it may require more accountability and transparency than we've had in the past. But the superintendent and I committed to each other that we would try to do that collaboratively in the days and weeks ahead. And I appreciate that commitment.
Mayor Naralampulam says he wants to continue providing quality housing in the city, building a better future for the children of Hartford, and improving the safety overall. In Hartford, Kay Pattyfoot, Fox 61.
Thank you, Kay. Well, the Yukon women are headed to the Sweet 16. The Huskies rolled to a 98-45 victory against Syracuse. They really took control early and they never looked back. They held Syracuse to just 12 points in the first half. AZ Fudd led the way with 34 points. Sarah Strong added 18 and 9 rebounds. And Blanca Quiñones chipped in 18 points off the bench. Yukon stays perfect for the year and will face North Carolina at the regionals in Fort Worth, Texas. And obviously, fans are excited and proud of the team. Valerie Moravi will have a reaction from students in stores after Yukon's big win. That's coming up at 10:30.
All right, time for a look at the weather now. The rain has moved out. Looks like we could see some sunshine tomorrow. How about that?
Yeah. How about finally, Brent? Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank is joining us, although it looks like some people got some snow showers.
Yeah, and it's actually enough to kind of coat up the ground, although just on grassy surfaces, not on the actual pavement. But still, this is from Jeff Aborn in Staffordville, where the flakes are flying. For most of the state, temperatures are above freezing. But the concern is, as we dip below freezing tonight, there could be a few slippery spots, especially in areas that are still seeing some rain and snow right now. Jeff Aborn in Staffordville is in the process of drying out, and I think this is going to be out of here as we head through the next hour and a half or so, let's say by 11 or 11:30. So Sprague, Plainfield, seeing some snowflakes, maybe some rain mixing in where temperatures are higher above freezing, and that's certainly the case in Niantic and New London, but certainly a reminder of what what can and does happen this time of year in March. Here's a look at temperatures. Again, above freezing for most of the state. We are below freezing in Torrington and also Union in northeastern Connecticut. Tomorrow we start in the 20s. By noon, we're up near 40, and we're looking at highs in the mid 40s. Look at that. There's the sunshine that you guys were so excited about. We'll talk about that warming trend coming up in just a bit.
Sounds good, Rachel. Thank you. We have a breaking news update now. We've learned the body of the missing canoer in East Haddam has been recovered. Connecticut DEEP says around 3 this afternoon, crews found the body of 20-year-old Dominic Tochi in Lake Hayward. He had been missing since Saturday after rescue crews learned his canoe had capsized. An investigation is now underway to determine what happened and the exact cause of death. Well, a woman had to be rescued from her car after it was partially submerged in the Connecticut River.
And it's unclear what caused her, though, to drive off a boat ramp. But rescuers say she is safe tonight. Fox 61's Tim Latow has the details on that rescue, coming from first responders.
Firefighters say it only took 11 minutes for the entire rescue. They went out to the floating car by boat and were able to break through the back windshield to rescue the woman.
They approached the car as it was still partially floating, and they were able to break a window and extricate her from the vehicle.
Dozens of first responders rushed to the bank of the Connecticut River in Rocky Hill. A call of a car in the water came in just after 11 a.m. Doug Clark with the Rocky Hill Fire Department says the car was 40 feet away from the shore and it was sinking rapidly in frigid 38-degree water.
It's all instinct. Some of our members had been in previous rescues from the water.
The woman was rescued and taken to the hospital. Police and firefighters say she's expected to be okay. One of the first police officers on scene was also hurt and taken to the hospital. He's already back home. The woman's car was hooked up to a tow truck and dragged out of the river on its side. Officials weren't able to release the woman's age or say why she drove off the Ferry Park boat ramp. But firefighters say these types of calls are on the rise.
It just seems that we've had a few of these incidents over the last few years. I think it's 3 in the last 2 years.
Clark says mental health calls have contributed to more water rescues in general. He calls it a troubling trend.
I think it is. I think it's not that this spot. I think it's a statement to what a lot of mental health issues that are going on these days.
How exactly her car ended up in the river is not clear and remains under investigation. In Rocky Hill, Tim Latow, Fox 61.
Well, Hartford police say a 14-year-old is recovering tonight after being shot this morning. Officers responded to East Street around 6:45 for a report of a gunshot victim. Police say the teen was actually shot at another location, and there's no word right now on a suspect.
Hamden police have made an arrest in connection to a shooting on Friday. Officers say Silas Harris was taken into custody today. Harris is charged with first-degree assault and carrying a pistol without a permit. He's being held on a $300,000 bond and will be in court on April 6th. The State Department of Correction is investigating the death of an inmate at the Osborne Correctional Institution. The DOC said yesterday afternoon an officer was conducting a regular tour when the inmate was found unresponsive in his cell. The inmate has been identified as 45-year-old Craig White from New Haven. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Right now, it's not clear what caused his death, but the facility was on lockdown. White had been serving a 33-month sentence for threatening.
Middletown police are investigating a serious head-on crash. Officers responded just after 12:30 this afternoon to South Main Street and Highland Avenue. Police say an SUV turned left into oncoming traffic and crashed with the pickup truck. A woman in the passenger seat of the pickup was taken to Hartford Hospital in critical condition. Both drivers suffered minor injuries and the road has since reopened. The state police say a Griswold man killed a woman in a drunk driving crash on her 21st birthday. They say last September, Baron Kumar Patel was speeding after having too much to drink on Preston Road when he crashed head-on with another car. Alexis Newcomb from Massachusetts was killed. Police say she was not wearing a seatbelt. Patel is charged with manslaughter, DUI, and other offenses and is due in court next week. Well, one runway at New York's LaGuardia Airport is back open tonight, hours after a deadly crash.
An Air Canada plane hit a fire truck while landing last night, killing the pilot and co-pilot and injuring dozens of others. Lee Waldman has the latest.
A deadly collision between a landing plane and a fire truck at New York's LaGuardia Airport late Sunday night. Officials say the 2 pilots died and 41 people were taken to the hospital. Dozens of them have been treated and released. Federal and local officials gave an update just a short time ago.
When these incidents happen, you see politics fade away and people work together. And that's why you have people with very different political views coming together, standing together to respond together to an incident like this.
Yes, it was an aviation disaster, the likes of which we have not seen here in over 3 decades. But it's a deeply human story where 2 young pilots left their homes expecting to return to their families, and they will not.
Audio from the control tower indicates the fire truck was responding to a separate incident on a United flight and was cleared to cross the landing moments before the collision. Diana Cruz was one of the passengers on that United flight.
And then later we found out that there was actually a crash on the runway, so we were kind of more like shocked that happened.
A passenger aboard the Air Canada flight described the moment of impact and how they escaped.
Everybody was hunkered down and everybody was screaming. Pretty quickly, we didn't have any directions because the pilot's cabin had been kind of destroyed. So somebody said, let's get the emergency exit and get the door in, let's all jump out.
At LaGuardia Airport, I'm Lee Waldman.
Well, the Senate has confirmed Markwayne Mullin as the new Homeland Security Secretary in a vote tonight, 54 to 45. Oklahoma Republican will now take over for Kristi Noem, who was fired on the 5th. He's adopting a funding stalemate in a fierce debate over immigration enforcement and airport security. Mullin says he'll focus on stabilizing the department and improving operations moving forward.